for Family Voice Peterborough. In today's meeting, we will be discussing about census. We all know that census is very, very, very important because it can help government to plan services such as transport, education, and healthcare. And as an organization, it's our own responsibility to make sure that all households complete the census before 21st March. But I will not go into detail on that. We got our speaker today called Nikki or Nicola. Yeah.
Nikki, please. Yeah, that's great.
Nikki. All right, thank you very much. I think Nikki, I'm going to leave the floor to you to explain more in details to let everybody understand why census. Why do we need census? So now, Nikki, the floor is yours, please. So after when Nikki finished, anyone want to ask a question, Nikki will answer all the questions, please. You can just type your name and let me know that I have a question, then I will give you the floor, then you ask Nikki, whatever you want to ask Nikki, please. Yeah. Nikki, now the floor is yours. You can go ahead, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Judith, I can't share my screen
Your mic is not looking great. I can't get you very well, Nikki. I'm not sure what's the problem there. Please, if you could. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't share my screen.
He's coming back again. The same thing. Yeah.
I think Judith has a copy, but you should be able to give me kind of sharing permissions, I think.
Yeah, I'm just even I'm just trying to share it. I'm not sure you will be able to. Have you got it? I'm about to share it.
Not yet.
Have you got it, all of you?
No, I can't share my screen.
Yeah,
if you make her host, she'll be able to share or co-host.
Yeah. Let me. Oh God.
You go to the participant and change Nikki to co-host. She'll be able to share the screen.
Thank you, Faustina.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you very much. I'm just trying to.
I've just done Nikki for co-host.
Here we go. Here we go. Brilliant. Thank you so much.
You got it, yeah? Yeah. Got it.
Okay, here we go. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
And can you hear me okay?
Yeah, but not too great. So, but anyway, I think we'll be able to manage on it. So, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry about that. It's obviously a connection problem, but you know, if it gets too bad and we have to have a rethink. But so thank you. This is me, and I'll just cover what I'm going to talk to you about. But thank you for inviting me today. Particularly Judith, who we've kind of had a couple of conversations. I've worked with her to kind of understand what would be helpful to talk to you about today. So thank you very much. I'll talk to you a little bit about my role in the census, what I've been doing over the last few months. The census, what it is, why it's important, how we can take part and what support is available to take part, more importantly, for those who can't take part online. A bit about the schools programs, because that might be of interest to some of you, and then happy to answer any questions. If people have questions as I'm going through, I'm more than happy to answer them, so do let me know. But I'm happy to, I'll carry on until someone kind of has a question. So
yeah,
my my role, I've been working since right at the end of September. I started on the 28th of September, and my role for the census in Peterborough has worked with the local authority to plan engagement and to support the census field operation. As you can imagine, census is a very big operation in England and Wales, and my particular area is Peterborough. There's a census engagement manager for each local authority area across the country, and mine is Peterborough. So as well as working with a local authority, I've been working with community groups and community leaders to raise awareness and address concerns about census. So any questions that people have had, I've been working with them to do presentations over the last few months, really just to let people know that census is coming, why it's important, why people can take part. So that's my role and what I've been doing over the last few months. So really my role has been about local engagement and support. So just going to talk to you a little bit about what the census is. I mean, you're probably all very familiar with it, but and really just to bring some context to the whole importance.
Nikki, sorry to stop you again, because some people are saying that it's not very clear. And I can see everyone. Can I ask Brenda to mute herself anyway, so that that will help the the voice a little bit clear, please. Yeah, Nikki, I don't know what's the problem, but honestly speaking, it's not very clear, honestly. Yeah.
Well, I am sorry about that. It must be my connection.
It still is doing same thing, Yeah. It looks like the connection is very poor around that area. I'm not sure why,
Yeah, I mean, I've got my wife that it's good strength.
It's doing same thing. It's still now.
Is the audio breaking up?
Yeah, it's breaking up. Yeah.
So I wonder if Juditha, are you able to share my presentation at all? That might help.
I was trying to share it. Let me text Luis, the host, my boss, if she can share the presentation for us, please. I don't know why he's doing that. Just give me a sec. Let me text Luis.
Usman, it's me hosting, not Louise.
Do me a favor. It is possible to share the census presentation slides rather than Nikki does it for herself.
I have to go back in and hold on a minute. Let me just get it.
Sorry, everyone. I don't know why. I've stopped sharing my presentation. Is my audio better now?
It's very good now. It's very clear now.
Okay, so it's obviously, so I have my laptop isn't very powerful. I don't think when I'm doing both at the same time. I have had this problem on and off. So it may well be that if my presentation is kind of shared from someone else's device, that should help.
Your voice is absolutely fantastic.
No, thank you. My voice is fantastic, but my technology isn't.
No, I hope it will be all right anyway, when Ramu finish with it anyway. So yeah, Ramu will share. Yeah.
Okay, I'll hold fire for the moment.
Yes, please. Thank you. Sorry, everyone.
Don't we just love technology? It'd be so good when we can all be back in the same room as each other.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for that anyway. So yeah.
I know. I know. Not long now. Not long now.
Because Nikki, this topic is very important. Because
absolutely.
I have done the census, and I know how difficult it is to complete this census. And there are a lot of people that he might not understand the language very well, and they definitely need support from people like you. So definitely, that's why we want to make sure that we can hear you very well and understand.
Okay.
Yeah. This one, or
yeah, here we go.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you can go to the fourth slide, slide number 4, that's great. Thank you.
Ramu, can you click enable editing?
Can you see it clearly?
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Ramu. Thank you.
And if you go into slideshow, then it will show on the whole screen.
Slide 7.
Slideshow. If you go into slideshow,
Where's that?
on the top, right, go to the right. To the right. Oh, sorry. No, on the toolbar where it says file and then home.
Yeah.
And if if you go back. So if you go onto the toolbar and it's go across to the right, keep going where it says slideshow.
Yeah, it's that one. Keep going, Ramu.
Oh, yeah, or the top one. It will go into present mode.
Oh dear. Is it this one?
I cannot even see your cursor
Your
again.
cursor, yeah.
Is it that one?
Yeah, but you need to go into present mode so it shows the whole slide rather than showing.
Oh dear. How do I do that?
So go up a bit and it will say slideshow. Keep going up with your cursor. Above that, you'll see it. Can you see on the toolbar? It says slideshow.
Slideshow.
I can't even see that slide. Yeah, I can see it. Ramu is here. Slideshow is here. When you check wire files, home, insert, draw, design, translator.
Yeah, keep going across. Keep going across.
You see the slideshow there.
Keep going with your.
Go up a little bit, like a TV sign. That sign.
Yeah.
That little sign, like a TV.
Yeah.
I don't think I can see what you're saying.
If you just push your cursor up slightly and across, then it will go into. You should be able to click.
Right.
It looks like a screen. If you check it, Ramu.
No, I can't see it from my end.
What about Nikki? If we manage about this, this,
that's fine. We'll carry on that way. Okay, and then
because I think Javid also need to
let's start with this then. So okay, I'll start again. So
Javid need to explain something as well when you finish. Yeah, let's go ahead anyway. Yeah.
And I can provide copies of these slides. I can provide it in a PDF so that it can be circulated as well. So okay, so just going back to what the census is. So the census happens across England and Wales, and it's happened every 10 years since 1801.
Sorry.
Okay. And it's happened every year since 1801, and it really came about as a result of particularly in London at the time, there were real pockets of deprivation, people, without water, struggling for food. So someone called Thomas Athelson came up with the whole kind of idea of a census to get a picture of where people were, what they were doing, how they were living, so that things could be put in place to help them. So that's kind of the history of census in England, but it dates back way before then. So it dates back over 6,000 years ago to the Babylonians. So census isn't a new concept, but in England and Wales it's been happening since 1801. The only time it didn't happen was during the war, so in 1941. But ever since then, we've been doing this population data exercise. And you can see there's a census record from the 1850s. They're no longer handwritten, but some of the older censuses are handwritten. And that might mean that if you're interested in tracing your family history, you can look back at census records, and it might even be that you can kind of see your ancestors' handwriting, which is lovely. So, and you can piece together your family history over time. I've done bits and pieces of mine, and it's fascinating. So the other thing to say is census happens in lots of countries. It doesn't happen just in England and Wales. So, for example, I had a query the other day from someone who spends part of their time in England and part of their time in Slovakia, and they'd been asked to take part in the Slovakian census as well. And the question was, do I need to take part in both? So absolutely, because governments don't share census data in England anyway, so government departments don't share your details with anyone, but they certainly don't share outside of the UK. So if you are resident in another country where a census is taking part, it's really important that you take part in that census as well, because the information that you give underpins all of the services in your local area. So just to say that that's a question that might pop up. So that's really important, but it's lovely when you see images like you can see on your screen now. So if you can go on to the next slide, please.
Ramu, please.
Thank you. So why is it important that we take part? Well, like I said, census builds a picture of your local area. So for everyone who takes part in the census, you know, there's the statistical information that is generated from that about where people live, how many people in their household, the ages of their children, family members. So it really helps build a picture of that local area. So the population, the density of that population, the ethnicity of that population, and that all helps to inform like I say, local services, so particularly for funding for the local authority, so things like schools, healthcare, transport, but it also helps populations or communities understand themselves as well. So for example, I was speaking to Iveta from the Latvian Community Association. She said, well, I think there's about 8,000 Latvians in Peterborough, but we're really not sure. So, you know, that data will help local communities understand where they are, how many people within that community, and what services they might need or might benefit from as well. Charities also use census data to underpin things like funding applications for grants. So, for example, there's a charity in Ramsey, which is slightly outside of Peterborough, but it's a really good example. So they used census data to evidence the need for community funding. That resulted in a £1 million community grant from the lottery, and that also then, because of that grant, they accessed another £600,000. So it's really, that really just demonstrates how important census data is to charities as well. The thing to say is this isn't a snooping exercise by the government. Like I say, the data is secure. Yes, they ask for your name. Obviously your address is on the address register, but they'll ask for the name and the names of those people in your household. And that's really just for sort of check-in purposes. So when the data is released, and it's really important to say that it's data, so that's statistics, it's not names and addresses. Once that is released, and that will be, the data is released in about a year's time, not the data, not the information that you've just seen on the previous slides. So it's numbers about populations, where they are, that sort of thing. That is released in about a year, and that data isn't shared with anyone. So that's confidential, that's in the statistical system. It doesn't get shared, for example, with you know, with the departments across the government that might deal with benefits and housing applications. Absolutely not. And you can't be identified from the information that you give. So it's impossible for anyone to look at data in a particular area and identify anyone in that area. Once you can't drill down to more than a few hundred houses, really. So it's impossible to identify anyone. The other important thing to say is, you know, there is a legal requirement for anyone living in England and Wales to take part in the census, and that's why there's so much support and help available for people to complete, to try and make it as easy as possible for them to take part and to be counted as part of their local community. So if you could go on to the next slide, please. Are you able to move on to the next slide, please?
Number 6, is that?
Yeah.
That's the one, isn't it?
You're on number 5 at the moment. Number 6, please.
Oh, okay. Hold on. It's showing me something different on my screen.
Technology isn't on our side today. It's definitely a Monday.
No, hold on. I don't know what's happened here.
We are still number 5 anyway.
If you on the sidebar, if you can see each of the individual slides, click on you'll see a red line, number 5. If you click on number 6.
Ramu, at the taskbar, you can see the show slide there. I think if you click that one, it will help you anyway for us to be able to show everything.
Is it coming up now?
Not yet. It's still you are still on number 5.
I need to get out somewhere. Wait a minute. Number 6.
Yeah.
Is it coming up now?
No, if you click on it, there we go. There we go. Brilliant. Thank you. So the Census Day is next Sunday, so that's the 21st of March. And letters have been going out across England and Wales for the last couple of weeks now. So if you haven't had yours already, it's imminent. And if you haven't had yours by Census Day, don't worry, because you can just do it anyway. But what is happening, and the process is that each household receives a letter, and that has an access code which enables you to take part online if you can. Contained within that letter is also a leaflet that says what to do if you can't take part online, and there's a helpline number there that you can call, which will direct you to some of the support that I'll talk about shortly. So online you enter your code. I did mine yesterday. The thing to say is it was quite interesting that the letter that I got said complete on or after the 21st of March. Now this year, because we are still in lockdown at the moment, it's unlikely that your circumstances will change much before the 21st of March. So for example, what it asks is, and the reason that it does is it asks about overnight visitors to your household. And that's really, again, for part of that check-in process, that if someone were, say, to be staying with you for a week or two and they hadn't completed at their own household, they would know why. That's because someone's away from home, but that's unlikely to happen given that we're in lockdown. The only situation I guess that might be is that if someone is moving house, really. But if you've got your code, you can absolutely do it now. So I did ours yesterday, and I also completed my mother-in-law's on her behalf because she has dementia. So she doesn't live with us; she lives separately. So I got an access code for her, and I completed on her behalf, which is absolutely okay for you to do as friends and family and relatives. So if you go on to slide number 8. Lovely. So this is just about the support that's available, and I'll talk through these in detail, but you can see there's lots of help and support available if you can't take part online, or if you need help to take part online. So that might be if English isn't your first language, if you need assisted technology, so for example screen readers, there's lots of help and support. So if you can go on to slide number 9, please. Thank you. So the first thing to say is there is local help available, and through 2 very well established, very well respected organisations called Parker and Gladker. They are both offering a local census support centre service. If we weren't in lockdown, then you would be able to just go in, visit them, ask questions about the census, get help to support to complete your census. They are still offering that support, but it has to be booked. So the best way for people to get their details, I mean, if they know about them anyway, they can contact them by phone. If you go onto the census website, and there's a section that says find a census support centre. If you put in your postcode, it will bring up your nearest. So for example, if you're living on the edge of Peterborough, it may well mean that there's a census support centre outside of Peterborough that is nearer to you, and you can absolutely contact other census support centres. You don't have to use the ones in Peterborough, but obviously, you know, like I say, they are very, very well known and established organisations. They've got people who can help you. They can offer language support as well. So that's a really good first line of inquiry for people who want help in Peterborough. If you can go on to the next slide, please. So there's also a national helpline, and like I said, this is the leaflet that will be included with everyone's letter, and that national helpline is open Monday to Friday and Saturdays. Over the census weekend, it will be open from 8 till 8, so next weekend it's open 8 till 8 all weekend. On that helpline, they can answer general inquiries, they can send you other materials. So for example, if you wanted a paper questionnaire, they could send that to you. They can send you language guides that sit alongside the questionnaire. They can help with accessibility, so you can do your census by phone if you prefer. So that is all accessed through that helpline. The other thing to say is there's they can help arrange interpretation. There is a separate language line, and that number is also on the leaflet, but they can book a translation session as well. The translation, the kind of person-to-person over-the-phone translation, is limited to smaller households, and that's because of the length of time that it takes. So if there's more than sort of 3 or 4 people in the household, that translation would take too long by phone. But there are language guides, and I'll talk about those, and there's translation support available on the website as well. So if you can go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. So this just shows you the online help, and there's help across different sections of the website. So there's a general help homepage, and then there's the sections about find a census support centre, get a new access code, get help with the questions themselves. And you can see there's a languages and accessibility section. And there's also a help section about the types of household or accommodation. So for example, shared households, student accommodation. So there's a really comprehensive help section on the website if you are able to get online. So it's well worth looking at if you've got any questions. And it's really insightful as well about census. So it's very informative as well. So it's, you know, not necessarily just if you want help, but it gives you the background behind census, about the questions. So it's just a very good information resource. So if you go on to the next slide, please. So just to talk a bit about accessibility, there's lots of accessibility built into the census. The online questionnaire itself is compatible with most assistive technologies, so things like screen readers, magnifying technology. So if you have a visual impairment, it doesn't mean that you can't take part online. It's been tested with the most common screen readers and the most widely used. So you can still take part online if you need that assistance. Also through the census website and through the helplines, there are things like large print copies. There's a Braille accompanying booklet which sits alongside the questionnaire. There are easy read materials, and they've been designed for people with a reading age of 8 and above. There are also British Sign Language videos online which talk about the census and take you through the questionnaire. There's a full accessibility statement on the census website. But absolutely, census has been designed to be fully accessible. So that's great news. If you can go on to the next slide, please. This is really important, particularly, you know, for those whose first language isn't English, Census is available in 49 different languages. There, like I say, there is a language support helpline which is separate to the main helpline. So if English isn't your first language and you want to speak to someone in your own language, you can call that language support line. There's also online translation on the website itself. And there are translation booklets that can be sent to you, which sit alongside the census questionnaire. So because census is something that happens by law in statute, the questionnaire can only be completed in English or Welsh. But just to say, aside from giving your name and the names of people in your household, the questions are tick boxes. So if your first language isn't English, what those translation materials do is they translate the question and they translate the answers, so you can see exactly how you are answering, and that takes you through the questionnaire step by step. So either online or in a paper format, you know exactly what question you're answering and how you need to answer. So that does take you through that way. You can go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. The other thing to say is, and another kind of support mechanism really, is there will be a field team operating in Peterborough and across England and Wales. So what they do is they follow up after Census Day itself with households who haven't completed. So a few days after Census Day, a field team will be out and about. They'll be operating obviously in a COVID safe manner, a bit like delivery do, postmen do. So it's a doorstep visit. They won't cross the threshold of your home. They will be identified, they'll have an ID badge. You can verify them by calling trading standards. Trading standards and the police have been notified that field officers will be out. But they can also give advice, they can provide paper questionnaires, things like that. So that's another kind of line of support, so that face-to-face support that will be available as well. And they are fully trained, they've got PPE, they're all identifiable, like I say, by their ID badge, and they're very bright high-vis vest, as you can see by there, but they will be offering door-to-door, so that's great. If you can go on to the next slide, please. Thank you.
Not yet.
Brilliant, thank you. So obviously this year is quite unique in that we're still kind of within a pandemic, and ordinarily what would have happened is that there would have been completion activities taking part in the community. So, you know, community centres, libraries, you know, that has happened in previous years, but obviously that can't happen this year. So the census support centres can offer one-to-one support, and that can be pre-booked. But unfortunately, because of the coronavirus pandemic, we can't organise mass completion events. You know, that's really important that we don't encourage those, unfortunately, because, you know, transmission rates are still high. So it's really important that we limit those kind of activities. But just to say, like today, I'm talking to you, if you have community groups or individuals who want help and they haven't got any other support, or you want to, you know, arrange a group activity, I'm quite happy to do that. There's a presentation that's step by step.
Your line is getting, the sound is not very good at the moment as well. I don't know what's the problem. Sorry about that.
Okay, so just, is that okay? Is it better?
Go on.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So just to say, like I say, in years gone by with Census, so 10 years ago, I know from talking to Javed and Adrian at at Peterborough City Council, you know, and from talking to community groups and leaders, events that were organised for community groups. Unfortunately, because of the COVID situation, you know, they can't happen this year, but I can still do stuff online. So I can do something like a question and answer session. I can do something that takes people through the questionnaire step by step. I'm really happy to. So if people would like that, please, you know, please do contact me. It's better for me to kind of work through, you know, you and your community groups. So just let me know if I can help in any way. The other thing to say is, you know, I've just talked about a lot of support. So there's the Census support centres in Peterborough. Friends and family, get friends and family to help. Like I said at the beginning, I completed my questionnaire on behalf of my mother-in-law who has dementia with Alzheimer's. So she would absolutely not be able to do a census questionnaire. On the questionnaire itself, it asks if you're completing for yourself or if you're completing for someone else. So long as that person is happy for you to complete for them, you can absolutely do that. And that's going to be a big source of support. You know, support workers, so people like carers. I've had lots of conversations with various charities, so they're aware that a census is happening, and a lot of them are really happy for their frontline workers who are working with people day to day to help them with their census form. So things like support workers and carers, definitely. You know, and then make use of the helpline, the phone line, web chat, and the online. So there's a whole big package of support that is available, and that's really important, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So I hope, even though we've had horrible technology issues, I hope that that's really come across, that there is a big package of support. If you can go on to the next slide, please. The other thing that I just wanted to mention, and you know, it has had a campaign behind it. Lots of the schools in Peterborough have signed up, but there is a primary and secondary schools programme for Census, and they're really good. They're really great and engaging, and it's all free. There are two different websites. So there's the Let's Count programme for primary schools. It's really engaging. There's a competition for the primary schools as well, which is about counting and doing a display, and that's kind of open for entries, I think, up until the end of April. David Olusoga, who's a very well-known historian, did an online lesson about representation and the census, and that's available on YouTube. So there's some really good resources for primary and secondary schools. It's all designed with the key stages in mind. There are resources for teachers. So like I say, it's really good, engaging stuff. So you know, if you want to do some stuff with your children at home, you can do that as well. So it's really good. You can go onto YouTube and look at some of the videos as well. But if you've got kids at school and their schools haven't signed up, then you might want to encourage that. It's about informing that the next generation about why census is important. So we can go to the last slide, please. So there may well be lots of questions. I'm conscious that we've had sound issues, so apologies for that. Like I say, I'm really happy for you to contact me directly and to share my details with other organisations. That's absolutely what I'm here for. My contract runs up until the end of May, so in the next couple of months I'll be working still with community organisations to help support completion. My role also now is kind of working with the field team. So all of the information that I've gathered over the last few months about local community groups and populations, you know, I'm using that to inform the field operation, and over the next few weeks or the coming weeks, you know, we'll be using that to provide support to communities who need help to complete. So just to say, you know, that's what I'm here for. Please do share my details and please do contact me, but I'm really happy to answer questions that you might have now.
Thank you very, very, very much, Nicola. I think everything is clear. I'm sure a lot of people will want to ask questions. But before that, can I allow Javid? Can I give Javid the floor to explain more about it? Then from there, we will allow people to ask their questions. Is that all right for you, Nikki?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mr. Javid.
Sorry, Usman, and sorry I was a bit late to
Yeah,
start
no.
with. Javed Khan, I work with Peterborough City Council. I'm very grateful for opportunity to work with this group again, which is very important. Nicola and I and Adrian, as Nikki mentioned, have been working very closely for a couple of months. So it's really nice to see she's a well-recognized figure in a lot of community groups, and we're really lucky to have the support we are getting from her. So I'll just urge everybody. I'll give you example. Well, a lot of questions we talk about were languages. After last census, when we are trying to work, we don't know who lives where. That's not what we are interested. For example, if you want to circulate some information in certain parts of the city, and we want to work out languages, then what languages should this information go? There are 100+ languages, but if we know there are more Latvians living in this part of the city, then we will make sure that that Latvian language is covered, or at least Russian language is covered. Or we'll go to groups which are working with the Latvian community to say, hey, we know there are bigger number of communities living here. So I think that's just one example of how what you say is actually able to, we don't identify who lives there individually, but we know the general sweep. Similarly, I'm sure health partners and others would be able to identify the needs in certain area. So it works in your favor to give that information, and it does not expose your personal data. Even if we want to, we won't be able to get it. The system is very tight about it. So I'll just urge everybody to take part. Thank you, Usman, for opportunity.
Yes, that is absolutely wonderful. Thank you very, very much. Faustina, I can see that you have a question for Nikki, please. If you want to go ahead, please, you are welcome.
Hello, I just wanted to ask a question to both Jawed and Nikki. Thank you, Nikki. You also had a session with the Chinese community as well. That was very helpful, coming from someone from the, authority. Chinese people, that Jawed knows that. They like to hear from someone who's official, and then they take it more seriously. So, thank you for doing that.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, the problem I have is, as I said at the end of the meeting, I know that already we have 2 census centers, but I hear that you encourage people to do it online. Going out is still risky, and there's still a safety concern to get to a center to do that. So, however, we have so many calls and messages, from people sending me videos, which questions still, me and my volunteers are working really tirelessly helping people to fill their forms, and translating. Although we told them there's translation available, but still, they just still come to us. What's this question? I take a video with my phone, show me, send to me, okay, which one it is, and it's just very, very time consuming for me and my volunteers. We're happy to do that. I just wonder, things, if we're not considered for the work, is there anything that we can give as an incentive to the people who help out and the volunteers, because they're helping and encourage them to do the forms and helping them to fill the forms, because I can't just ask them doing it all the time. To help them, to help others, we need to have some kind of incentive. This is from my point of view. I'm asking on behalf of my community, because, Jawed, you know that it is the hardest reached community, and because they have a lot of language barriers, and they also have technology barriers. They get worried and concerned when doing a form. So even when they in the beginning they thought, oh, the net is not genuine, so many scams out there. It also takes time to explain to them it's not a scam, it's an official letter, take it seriously. Also constantly translating and telling them take it seriously, do the form. So that all takes a lot of effort. I just wanted to ask on behalf of my community, are there anything I can give them, even as a thank you voucher or something, for the volunteers who help out? Because I know you're working with the communities, you're working with the field, the purpose is to encourage everyone to actually take part, take seriously, fill the form, that's it, done. But if we can't, work with them, then the numbers might not reach the ideal number you want to, especially people worried about this might affect their benefit. Maybe someone who hasn't got a UK nationality, maybe, because they are here traveling, they don't understand. We need to explain to them, if you live here more than 3 months, you need to register. So we have been answering questions and doing all that work. I just wanted to see if there's a possibility for me to be able to say to them, thank you for doing this great work. Thank you for helping our community members. Here's a voucher for you as a thank you. Something like that. I wonder if this could be considered.
I really hear what you're saying, Faustina. We can't incentivize Census. I'm really sorry. I don't have access to anything like incentives. What I might be able to do is, work with you to produce something for your community, that might help take the burden off of your volunteers. So, for example, the sort of questions that you're getting asked, pull them together into a document that people can see, and maybe I don't know if you've seen the invitation from the Community Champions group, but we're asking community leaders to produce videos, which the Peterborough City Council are paying for, that you could talk about all of the kind of frequently asked questions. I do hear what you're saying. I'm a volunteer myself, and I know how, when something like this happens, it can be an absolute drain on your time. But we don't have it, and I certainly don't have any incentives, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know it's really hard. Yeah.
I know that you totally understand me, and I've done the video as well. Jerwin knows I've done the video for Mandarin for Chinese.
Brilliant.
But this is still happening because it's something that, because I run other community groups as well, which is voluntary. I know how much the volunteers do for the community.
Yeah,
and,
I know.
When I was at doing Hampton Tiddlers, I always say, here's a thank you voucher for doing that, and also help them, for their development and stuff like that. I know how hard is it to, to retain volunteers, and also it's so important to show appreciation for the volunteers for the work they do.
Absolutely.
There's something for Jared, maybe that's something you can mention in the champions meeting. I don't know, because I haven't got access to funding to show appreciation for their work for the census.
Yeah, I mean, I know, David, it was mentioned there were some kind of small grant programs that people could apply for in Peterborough.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nicola, and thank you very much, Faustina. I'm trying to think of the nearest example is community champions that we already have. So when COVID-19 struck, there were a lot of people, volunteers, helping out. So again, I'm not comparing Census with COVID. I'm just saying when there's a community need, people come out, and Census is also a good opportunity. So it's an opportunity for us to strengthen the relationship with our volunteers. So what great work that Faustina and there many others who are in the community doing, they're not doing on their own. They're doing supported by the people. If without them, their work is almost impossible. So we need to recognize that. And I will take it away to talk to at the community champions meeting. And I know Adrian is away this week, so I won't be able to get immediate answer. But I think Leonie would be also one person because of the volunteer support. So how the volunteer system can actually recognize, because this is how we make Peterborough. This is how information works.
Definitely.
It doesn't happen on, individually when people are helping out only, but this is an opportunity. So just turning it around, even if there's some kind of recognition, I'm not saying necessarily whatever voucher or whatever, but I'm thinking some kind of recognition means that those volunteers are better recognized.
Yeah, definitely. I know there's a one example about what Near Neighbors did. They did this beautiful letter and a little plant or something, and people really, really appreciate that little gesture. It didn't cost much, but it's so important for people who give to the community to be feeling appreciated for the work they do.
And this
So
is
something to, you know, to discuss and take forward, and maybe, you know, yeah.
Javid, maybe we can kind of have a discussion and get our heads together about something. I mean, it's absolutely, like you say, it's not necessarily just about something financial, but it's just about a thank you. And I'm sure, you know, part of my process at the end of this will be about thanking people. So, you know, what maybe we can do alongside Peterborough City Council, definitely.
Yeah, I know Nikki's doing, I see you in so many meetings supporting the census. You're working so hard on it, but also the volunteers in the field work.
Yeah,
is also
absolutely. And
important.
yeah. I mean, like I say, I volunteer myself, and I know, you know, you do it because you love it, but you know, the unpaid hours that volunteers do, and they, you know, they give absolutely some sort of recognition, even if it's not a financial incentive, definitely. So I'll chat with Javid about that.
And this is measurable, because I mean, in 1 month time, I'm sure Census will be able to look, hey, the response rate in Peterborough is so good, or the response rate in Chinese community in Peterborough
my aim is to
so
get
good.
everyone to it.
Oh, brilliant.
Other communities like Lithuanian, Latvian, and others, and and I think this can be something which can bring people together. So we'll take it as an action, and we'll work with Nikki and then take it to the next community champion meetings. Thank you. Thank you for good suggestion.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
Is anyone has a question? It looks like no one has a question, and I think Nikki, you and Javid, you demonstrated this thing very well. I think, and it's well understood. I hope everybody definitely, or we as a community leaders, we will be able to encourage our communities to make sure that everybody complete the form, and try to explain to them the importance of completing this form and the consequences that might happen if you did not, or if you fail to complete the form. So
yeah, I think the important thing to say is, you know, yes, there's a legal obligation, but that's not the, you know, that's not one of the messages that we give out. It's about the, you know, that's very much a long way down the line, because we appreciate that it's, you know, yesterday I did it. It was really quick and easy for me, but you know, I'm not everyone, and you know, everyone will have their kind of own interpretation about census, and you know, why do I need to do it, and you know, I can't understand the form. So you know, it like I say, it was easy for me, and I'm very grateful for that, but I know for a lot of people it won't be easy. So and like I say, the kind of whole legal thing is a long way down the line, and that is really for people who just deliberately don't want to take part in census. So you know, I think the thing is to reassure people, don't worry, you know, there is lots of help and support in many ways, be that through the local census support centre, or be it, you know, it may well be in households that, for example, school children speak or have better understanding of English than their parents do, maybe. So even children can help. I know my parents are late 70s. They've got their access code through, but they're not sure we can do it online. And I said, well, you know, I can talk you through by phone, because they don't live near me, you know, but so it's about kind of using all of those different mechanisms. So I think, you know, I personally have not been saying too much about the kind of legal obligation. I think for some people it is important to add that quite subtly, that, you know, you have to do this by law, but I think it's about, you know, very much for me why it's so important, and it's like Javid said, you know, when the city council are looking across Peterborough and at the population and what they need and what help and support they need, all of this data is just so important. You know, particularly Peterborough is a city where there's massive development going on, and all of that data, you know, will inform what happens across Peterborough for years to come. So, you know, sort of short, medium and long term, schools, doctors' surgeries, bus routes, all of that sort of thing, you know, and like Peterborough, with that kind of really densely populated city centre and quite rural areas that all have different calls on the local authority and all have different needs. That's why census is so important. And actually, you know, I think as a citizen, you know, for me, I sort of think, well, if I rely on these services, it's in my duty to kind of help inform that. So, because if you don't take part, and we never get 100% completion, but if we don't take part, then you become an estimate, and an estimate is only an estimate. So, you know, for example, you know, so they will use population data that they've had before to inform that. But, you know, for me, it's about, this is me, this is what I need, you know. So I think that's the way to kind of talk about census and encourage participation and give those reassurances that, you know, the data can't be used in any other way. It's not shared with, you know, it sits in the UK. It's not shared with any other government departments. It can't affect your benefits. It can't affect your housing, anything like that. It's there for people's, it really is there for people's benefit, definitely.
Well, Nikki, Javid, what do you think that because of number of questions would put off people to complete the census? Because, you know, myself, I've done it, and I know that there are a lot of questions, you know, to be answered. So, what do you think that that will put off people to complete the form, the census? I mean,
what, the fact that there are so many questions?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
If there's any way that could government make it more simpler, like, I don't know whether you understand what I'm trying to explain. Because I mean,
yeah, I mean, there is an individual form. So, for example, if you don't own your own property, there's an individual form. So that, you know, an individual form is a lot shorter than the household form. But the household form, like you say, you know, it asks about how many cars you've got, what central, you know, do you have central heating? But that is all, that data is so important. So, for example, I know that Suffolk County Council use the information about the number of cars in each household. So when a new housing estate is being developed, they will use that parking information to say, okay, so, you know, we've got an area here of 2-bedroom households. They've got generally 1 car each, whereas a 3-bedroom household might have 2 or 3 cars because they've got a mum and dad and they've got kids, or they've let out one of their rooms. So I hear what you're saying. It does seem, you know, like a really long-winded questionnaire, but it's and the thing is, it's only every 10 years, you know, so it might seem like a real pain to sit there and have to go, you know, to go through everything, but it's a once in a 10-year exercise that we gather all of this information, which is so important, you know, for the years to come. I think, you know, that's the thing to say. Yes, we know, you know, we know it's long-winded, but if it was made shorter, some of those really important decisions that are informed by the census data might not, you know, they couldn't be made as well as they are because they wouldn't have the data to support them. Or it might be that people get asked more frequently about different things. So I think, you know, the other thing to say is that the whole kind of census program is, you know, so after this exercise, there'll be a review process, and, you know, there'll be discussions as to is it another 10-year exercise, or are there other ways that we can do it? So maybe, you know, it could be in the future, and I'm not saying it will be, but, you know, it might get broken down into sort of smaller exercises over, I don't know, a lesser number of years. But I think, you know, the thing to say is, yes, it's long, but it's really important, and this is why. So yeah, I do hear you.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to complete it? I'm not to put just give me an idea, because I haven't done it. Does it take half an hour or 1 hour or
Yeah, because my household is 4 people, me, my wife, and my 2 children. I think it took me about almost 30 minutes.
Well, brilliant. You know, that to me, I mean, if I'm able to complete a household survey for 30 minutes, that's really 10 years of, investment. So
Yeah.
that's brilliant. Well done to you. Because, and I'd like to go back to Faustina, because if you are picking up, say, from your community contacts or anybody, certain questions, they regularly ask, or maybe they come to that point and they get confused, and you explain again. Please share that with Nikki, because we can then know that this is the question which is causing people some kind of misunderstandings. Sorry, Faustina.
Thank you very much, Javid. Because my wonder was, why do they need to ask us cars, heaters, number of these things? I didn't understand. Why it is important for them to know that. I was so wondered, because that was my first time to do it anyway. So yeah. But as Nikki said, and you, Javid, I fully understood the importance of those questions anyway. Yeah.
I think Faustina want to ask a question.
Yeah,
Faustina, please ask. Unmute yourself. Faustina, we can't hear you. Unmute, please.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I'm just saying from my own experience, to encourage people to take part, it was quite important to say the benefit for the community. So that few points that Nikki raised in the last meeting with our community was very helpful. So I kept drumming this in. It will be good for the community if you fit in this. And also about the confidentiality, which was a very good point as well. It won't be shared only if you're going to go on the who you think you are 100 years later when you look at your ancestors. So that was quite important to share with them. However, I just wanted to say that when I did it, I'm English speaking, but I don't deal with all my household bills and everything. So my husband deal with it. He said, you fit in. It took me more than half an hour because I was, what's our gas? What's this? Central heating. Especially from a Chinese person, we are not very used to certain words about a central heating, about, heterosexual, straight, because we don't use that kind of words. So I get quite a few requests saying, what does that mean? Actually, I said, okay, the opposite sex, that means, okay, I have to explain to them. There's also, I kept sharing my the links that Jared shared and Nikki shared to them. It's actually all translated, it's actually in that form, the whole form being translated. They just need to look at 99, but they don't look. You have to keep telling them.
Yeah.
That it's there. Look at this. Which page, which paragraph, you have to tell them. And another one who is, a bit worried about doing it online, and she requested to have a Zoom with me. So therefore, I have a computer, she has a computer, I have the screen, and she has a separate computer because she didn't want to share the information with me. So she was on a Zoom with me and completing the form on a different computer. That took over an hour. Can you imagine if everyone does that? It takes a lot of time.
Oh, bless you,
The technology barrier and the language barrier is causing a lot of difficulty for people to fill in the forms.
But what you've just described there, where you went through the questionnaire and completed, I'm quite happy to do that with community groups if it's helpful. I appreciate, you're a trusted face, and people don't really know me, but I'm really helpful. I'm really happy to do those sorts of sessions.
Even if I'm a trusted community leader, and if they say I don't want to share, we don't share.
Yeah.
So she has a separate computer. You see, it's how sensitive they are to their own data.
Well, absolutely. So I wouldn't share with someone, but I would just take them through step by step. I guess the added kind of complication is that I don't speak any other languages apart from English, so it may well be that but I'm quite happy to do something alongside if you wanted.
Thank you for the offer. Yeah,
absolutely. That's what I'm here for. So anyone on the meeting, just get in touch, let me know what I can do to help. But I think you know, there's a lot to be said about, like you say, the benefits and the confidentiality and reassuring. A lot of this is about reassurance as to why, and you know, why the questions are being asked and what happens with them. But the practical exercise of completing the questionnaire is, you know, is quite lengthy in some places. So just to help.
Usman, I'd like to explain something about ethnicity.
Yes, please.
Often people sometimes don't understand. I did not understand 15, 16 years ago when I came to this country, why I had to fill out a form which says what ethnicity you are, whether you are Asian, Pakistani, whatever.
Black African.
And a friend of mine, an Irish friend of mine, was a very closest friend, and he said, I get very annoyed when the people ask me these questions, because they think that I'm human being, I'm international, I'm everything. He used to say that, and I said, oh, he's right. He's he's passed away many years ago now. But then I got to understand, when I do this work, why is it important for the authorities to know that. For example, this is just an example. So if we know that there are, say, 20% of a certain neighborhood are elderly people from, say, African heritage living in certain areas, and then we look at the bus passes, for example, in that area, and we find no black person of senior citizens is taking bus passes. Now, they're all very rich, they all got cars, or they have got family who are driving them around, or it may well be that they are not aware that they have got this benefit and they're not benefiting. So when somebody does service like police, health, and others, they say, oh, we've got 2,000 people coming to our service. But when we look into their statistics, we say, look, all of them were white. Where is the other representation? The 30% of the population is supposed to be other ethnicity. Your service is not being introduced to the wider community. I then realize it's actually in my interest to fill that form accurately, so that when people are able to look at our service, they say they can hold the partners to account. If I don't do it, the partners say no information. Now we can't compare. So then I say, oh, this is not fair, this is racist. Well, actually, the system is designed to actually help us, so we can be less, that we can be making sure that people are working across, irrespective of whatever the case. So I just wanted to explain that, because a lot of people don't understand, even when they fill out the other forms on ethnicity. I encourage them to fill. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Javid. That's absolutely wonderful, honestly speaking. You guys are doing a wonderful job, honestly speaking. We all appreciate that one, because there are a lot of people who are not, who really need help, and you guys are trying very well to try to reach everybody. This is absolutely commendable, honestly speaking. Yeah, we are very, very proud of you guys, Nikki.
Oh, well, really happy to help. It's and what I'd like to say is, I've only been doing this job for a few months. I've been so welcoming, and I think what is so evident to me is, Peterborough has just fallen over itself to be helpful to me. I'm obviously here to do a job, but everyone's been, it's a fantastic community, and I've met so many lovely people and wonderful people. And hopefully, once we're out, it will be great to meet people in person. But that's the sad thing about this, is that ordinarily, I've been meeting with you all face to face and running events, but that's been the drawback of COVID. But Peterborough is such a fantastic place. The sense of community is just so strong, and it's been a real pleasure. So for the next couple of months, I'm here to support you and your communities however I can.
Yeah, thank you. I can assure you, both you, Nikki and Javid, that Family Voice are here to support. We will be working with you 100%. We really know that there are a lot of people who need help, and definitely we focus on those people. And anything we need from, any question that we got from those people, and we don't know how to answer that question, we will definitely contact you to get more information from you. definitely. We know that this is very, very important, particularly for the government and everybody here. Yeah, we'll definitely closely working with you.
I just want to repeat praise for the family voice, Usman. I know
Yeah.
Louise and other partners like Judita and Jane and various others who are working. This group, Seldom Heard Communities, has only started very recently, but it is making an impact in the city. So because when we are talking about where people to go to, people like what we have present today, this discussion is not just happy to one community, it's happening everybody and understand. So I think what you guys are doing is most appreciated. I certainly will continue to encourage other partners, and like Nicola and others who are coming on board, there will be future other things. So there are new things will happen. So we can use this forum. So thank you very much for Family Voice. I just like to record our appreciation for Family Voice for this great work. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Javid. Definitely, that's well appreciated anyway. So, like you said, Judita is doing a fantastic job. We are very, very happy about Judita anyway. I'm sure, Judita, you want to say something anyway. If you want to say something before before we move on, then you can just come forth and say something, please. Yeah. She has been absolutely wonderful for Family Voice, honestly. It's a great asset for us. Yeah. Judita.
Is it your legacy hand, or you would like to add something?
Yeah, you want to say something? Maybe you want to say something to Javid or Nicola or Faustina or anyone here, member of participant here. Yeah.
She's too modest. She'll never claim the credit. I know Judita.
She's very good. She definitely made my job easy, honestly speaking.
I would like to say a very huge thank you to all our participants, to all our speakers, to all also organizers, and especially thank you also to Ramu for the helping us with IT, and especially thanks to Nikki for all explaining in very detailed explaining of what the census is about, and for answering the questions. Thank you, Javad, also for the support, and thank you, Faustina, for the questions. Thank you, Usman, for your for the leading this forum very well. And if you have any contacts, questions, so please contact the Family Voice Peterborough and contact us, and we will be happy to support you, to help you in any way is it possible for the Family Voice Peterborough. Also, thank you very much for partnership to all our partners who are helping us to support families with SEND, and to also lead all these forums. So thank you very much to everybody.
Thank you very much. Yeah, at the time now it's finished. It's supposed to be 1 hour, but because of this was really, really important, that's why we couldn't, we had to listen to both, Javid and Nikki to give more information. I think we right now everybody is happy here as a team leaders or as a community leaders. I think we'll be able to help our communities now regarding about this census now. Yeah, Nikki, once again, thank you million.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, and David also, thank you very, very, very much. We really appreciate you, all of you anyway, and all the participants as well. Definitely, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you very, very much.
I think Faustina is trying to say something.
I see Faustina, I want to say something.
Yeah. I know, Faustina, I will give you the floor. Before I'm going to, give Faustina the floor, I'm encouraging everyone that I think we have our next meeting will be next week, isn't it?
Yes, we have the next meeting on 23rd of March, and it is for mental health support for Family Voice, for the families with SEND. So please also, you are very welcome to attend this meeting.
Yeah, we will love to see everyone on board on that day, please. Yeah. Oh, Faustina, if you wanna go ahead,
I just wanted to say It's an honor to know Juditha, and I think from the first time she invited me to the Family Voice meeting, and then I had the meetings, and I also got in touch with the hate crime officer. We had a few awareness sessions, so it's an honor to know you all, and thank you, Nikki, and Jawed, and Osman, and everyone here. What I wanted to say is Peterborough has the most amazing community spirit than any other city I've ever known. And that's a credit to you all. And Jawi, you're doing a great job as the head of a community cohesion, you know. So that says something, you know, people working together for the community, putting a lot of effort in to support the communities. And also this seldom heard communities, Chinese community is definitely one of the seldom heard of communities. So from here, I get a lot of information, and I also get your passion, your support, and which I share with the community. So it's amazing work you do. Thank you so much.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you very much, Faustina. And also, this is the aim of the Family Voice Peterborough as an organization to help and to support. So we are very glad. Thank you.
All right. I think we need to wrap up. I think we can wrap up now, and thank you very, very much. As Faustina, we also have to thank you very much as well. You know, because you have been so wonderful to us. Anyway, honestly speaking, since I know you, you are so active, particularly in this Zoom meetings. Anyway, so we have to say thank you very, very, very much, and thank you all the participants. And I hope to see everyone next week. Yeah. And before next week, I hope so everyone will complete the census as well.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. What?